Well, hello there, people of the internet and the globe again. I'm TheMBmulti. Welcome to I believe this is part 15 of my Let's Play Doki Doki Fallen Angel. In the previous episode, we went to the festival. We ran into Monica again. Of course, she once again sent me some ominous text messages, but we ran into Monica and she pretended not to know that Yuri was in coma in the hospital. Even though I'm 99% sure that she knows, because she probably put her there. But okay. Maybe not directly, but of course, you know, we all know that Monica is the reason why all the Dokis have issues. You know, she made Sayori depressed, she made Yuri harm herself, and she made Natsuki's dad abusive. So even if she didn't put her there, literally, she did put her there indirectly, you know. But yeah, other than that, we had a great time at the festival. Except for those douchebags who were like being assholes to Yuri, but we stood up for Yuri. And Natsuki thought that was awesome. Yeah, I mean, we just had a great time with hanging out with Yuri and Natsuki at the festival. So yeah, and now we went back home, and right now a light glow shines onto my eyes, waking me up. I tightened my eyes before finally opening them. I extend my arm to grab my phone and bring it to my face. Extend your hand! My adventure is about to begin! Extend your hands! No, what was it? Notes! Orphe! Auden! Frittara! Saturday, 9:42 AM. Ugh. I look out the window. There appears to be some heavy cloud formations growing. Perhaps a storm is coming. I climb out of bed and start my day. I flop down onto my living room couch. For a while, I just sit in the serenity of my empty house. Always empty. Bzzz. Huh? I bring my phone to my field of view. It's Yuri. Is it okay if I start heading towards your house? I type out a response. Yeah, that's fine. My arm falls limp again, and I sit lifeless on my couch. I feel so bored today. Hopefully Yuri shows up soon and saves me from this void that is my living room. For the next 20 minutes, I just sit on my couch staring at the ceiling. Suddenly I hear a bell. That must be Yuri. I heave myself up off the couch and make my way to the door. I gently open the door. Stop saying that! Hi Yuri. Yuri appears on the other side. Hey, what's up? Good afternoon, Mark. Are you ready to go? Let me make sure I got my wallet. I slap my ass as hard as I can. Yeah, I got everything. Let's go. Yuri and I step outside and head towards the psychiatrist's office. Hello, you two. Welcome back. He speaks in his usual upbeat tone, not exactly the kind of voice you'd imagine a psychiatrist to have. I shake his hand like always. He then offers his hand to Yuri, and they shake as well. Well, shall we get started then? He gently Stop saying that! He gently opens the door to his office and gestures for us to step inside. We walk over to the couch and take our seats. Naturally, Dr. Langton is in the chair opposite to us. So, as you know, this is simply a checkup. I just want to make sure the medication is working, everything is fine, etc. Okay. Yuri fidgets in her seat. That's odd. After all this time, I'd figure she'd be used to Dr. Langton by now. I still can't help but smile at Dr. Langton. It's really funny. I guess we should start with the most blatant question. Have you been self-harming at all, Yuri? She shakes her head. No. That's good. He scribbles in his notebook. And I believe school has started back up again, is that correct? Yuri nods. Yes. And how was the first week back? It was fine. He continues to stare at Yuri. Just fine? Yes. Something feels off here. Even with the exception of Yuri being an introvert, her one-word replies seem unnatural. It's like she's forcing the words out. Dr. Langton is leaned over his knee, examining Yuri. After a short time, he leans back into his chair. He looks down at his notes, readjusts his glasses, and then looks back up at Yuri. Are the kids at school treating you okay, Yuri? What do you mean? I'm just asking how the students behave. Are they nice, cheerful? Are you making friends? That kind of stuff? They're okay. Dr. Langton stares at Yuri for a few more seconds before finally writing into his notepad. Is Yuri not going to bring up the group of boys? Maybe it's not important. Or maybe it is. Yuri's acting weird, even by Yuri's standards. But is it really my place to say anything? I'm just a bystander in their meetings after all. But I feel like the doctor's right to know. Oh, what? I don't even have a choice! What the hell is that? I don't even have a choice. I mean, I wasn't even gonna say anything. It's Yuri's therapy sessions, not mine. I mean, I guess I'm there. Like... I don't even have a... Why even force me to click on that if you're not even gonna give me an option? Like, it's not even a choice. It's not even funny, like in where... Who do I share my poem to first? And then it's just Yuri. Like, I click to Yuri. It's not... This isn't funny. Like, I don't... Fine. Oh, yeah, well, she's going to. Hopefully Yuri doesn't resent me for bringing this up. Well, there was this one interaction yesterday. Oh? He leans into the edge of his seat. Yuri jerks a gaze onto me. There's a fear in her face. Maybe I shouldn't have brought... Yeah, maybe. Too late to go back now. Though, as I've already opened the can of worms. It wasn't anything, really. Just a group of immature boys shouting obscenities. Dr. Langton softly bites on the tip of his pen. After a short period of thinking, he finally says something. And how did that make you feel, Yuri? I catch a glimpse of her hands trembling. She presses them into her lap in an attempt to cover it up. You can be honest with me. I won't judge or think any less of you. I was angry, embarrassed, sad. There were so many emotions at once. It was like a 0.9. It was like a 0.9 earthquake came and shook the very fabric of my soul. And then several equally as powerful aftershocks hit me right after. Yuri takes a moment to collect her thoughts. The doctor remained silent as well. But then Mark acted. He got us out of that horrendous situation, and I'm very thankful for that. Aww. No. She clenches my hand and gives me a soft smile. Well, Dr. Langton scans over his notes. That's good to hear. I understand school can be a challenge, and I know kids can often be brutal at times, but I think as long as you two have each other, there's nothing that will hold you back. He gives us both a huge, almost cartoon-like smile. Anyway, moving on. How's your prescription holding up? Oh no! Anyway, last week, if I recall correctly, you should be requiring a new order soon, correct? He flips through some papers on his desk to reassure himself. Correct. Well, the pharmacy already has the file, so you can go at your own time. Moving his arm up in a large motion, he not so casually checks his watch. Well. He then clasps his hands together. I think that's all we have for today. Any questions? Yuri and I exchange glances. No, I think we're good. Wonderful. Feel free to contact me on when you want to schedule your next appointment. With that, he begins to shuffle us out of his office. We arrive at Yuri's house. Well, that went fairly well, I'd say. What did you think, Yuri? Yuri, you okay? She's been acting weird recently. Or weirder than usual in any case. I'm fine. Fine? Whenever a girl says that, usually things are the complete opposite of fine. I subconsciously begin to take steps towards her, but Yuri begins to back away like an animal caught in a cage. However, she only backs away so far, and I find myself inches from her. Yuri is only a little shorter than me, allowing us to maintain eye contact fairly easily. Even with that, she refuses to look me in the eyes. She begins to slowly open her mouth. Breathe, Yuri. Take a moment to collect your thoughts. It's something she's done time and time again. Finally, she speaks up. I'm going to drop out of school. What? Yeah, that's what I said. What? Drop out? She can't actually be serious. Okay, time out, rewind. You're what? There's a tinge of annoyance in my voice. This is why I didn't want to tell you. I knew would be upset. Wait, how long have you been keeping this from me? For a while now. I feel disappointed and also a bit furious. The thought of Yuri hiding such a big decision from me hurts. Why are you just now telling me? I didn't want you to worry. Yuri, all I do is worry about you. A contorted expression grows on her face as if she just saw me kick a puppy. I didn't realize I was such a burden to you. Someone you always have to think about and worry about. That's not what I meant. I hate to be a burden to you, Mark. I didn't say that. I guess I'm just not capable of looking after myself. After all, I'm just the girl with scars along her arms. The girl with no friends other than words on the page. I'm useless. No, Yuri, you're not. Then explain why you feel the need to spectate my life every waking moment of the day. Don't get don't get angry. Don't get upset with me for the secrets you've been hiding. Look, now we're getting off topic. Back to my point. You can't drop out of school. Why not? You just can't. That's not your decision to make. That's true. Regardless, it's still a bad decision. You just don't understand. Yeah, you haven't even asked why she's doing it. Well, I didn't ask, but okay. Yeah, that's the problem. You never tell me. Okay, answer me this. Why do you want to drop out? Your grades are exceptional. It has nothing to do with my grades. Is it because of the boys yesterday? I told you not to worry about them. My voice grows more irritated with each sentence. It's not just that. It's... What is it? I can't say. No, we're not keeping any more secrets from each other. Tell me what's wrong. I don't want to talk about it. No, I've worked too hard. Should be an extra O. I've worked too hard. See, English is important. I worked too hard to get close to her, and once again she's shutting me back out. Damn it, Yuri! My thoughts are cloudy. I don't know what to do. If I let her shut herself in, she may never come back out. Just tell me what's bothering you. I can't. I feel my bloodstream heating up. Please stop resisting my help. Please don't do this. Do what? Help you? Listen to you? Actually take the time to find a medical profession to treat you and all your problems? Everything I do, Yuri, is all for you. Yuri just shakes her head while trying to hold back tears. I didn't want this. You didn't want this? What? Oh, you didn't want this? Of course, Yuri. How could I forget? I'm just a guy who chased you down, barged into your house and forced his way onto your life unwanted. It's not like that. Then what is it like? I don't know. Please just stop saying that. Surely you have to know something. This is going nowhere. My hands are shaking as if I drank a liter of energy drink. I can feel the steam rising out of my ears. I have to keep pressing forth. This is what she did when I first found her cutting her wrist. She pushed me away as far as she could. I can't let her ruin her life. I catch a glimpse of myself in the window. My enraged reflection stares back at me, but I see disgust me. Here I am yelling at the girl I thought I loved. Mark? Yuri's voice snaps me out of my daze. She's no longer yelling. In fact, her voice is so quiet it's barely audible. I don't want to see us like this. I love you. Love. I've heard that word so many times the past several months. I've heard it come from Yuri's lips, my best friend's lips. I feel it's been said so much it's lost all meaning. If you really love me, why would you tell me If you really love me, you would tell me what's wrong. If you trusted me, you would give me time. Yeah, well, that's what I said also. Like, you know, didn't need to force Yuri to get into the fucking therapy session, but we did. Well, this guy did. I don't know who to trust anymore. Okay, I can taste the venom dripping from my teeth. It's bitter yet satisfying to feel spit out of my mouth. A tear glides down Yuri's face. All the memories we made, the stories we shared, the time we've spent. I guess even hot love has a cold end. I look her straight in her eyes. The windows to the soul, as she put it. I suppose they're just bittersweet memories at this point. I feel like a failure. After everything I've done, you still don't trust me. Yuri's retracted body only makes me feel worse. It pains me to see her like this. So why can't I stop? Now it's my turn for my voice to be barely audible. Why don't you like anyone? You didn't see the messages. What messages? What messages? The ones that everyone saw. I think to myself, last week, the boy in class who stifled a laugh at a long message. The two loud girls in my class, they were talking about someone in some text message. What was in the messages though? I have to know. I look back at Yuri. She looks lifeless, but I have to make a choice. Oh yeah, well, we're definitely fucking pressing that topic. Yuri, you have to tell me what was in those messages. I can't. Damn it, Yuri, you're not helping me. Yeah, well, don't help. Getting angry at her doesn't help either, asshole. Like, what the fuck? This sounds like ridiculously serious. So maybe don't get angry. With every one of my attempts to get closer, she still pushes me away. This is bullshit. How can I help you if you don't tell me what's wrong? Well, don't help. Well, yeah, well, it's like, again, a bit of a superhero complex here. It's like, not like I can fix everything. But, you know, I still want to know what's going on. And yes, you are 100% correct, by the way, Yuri, that I shouldn't have forced you in therapy. My character, because like I said, I would have waited. But, you know, this guy's like, oh yeah, shove her into a therapy session and all of a sudden magically she'll be okay. But, you know, apparently something much bigger is going on. And I think we all know that Monica's behind it. But, like, that sounds very serious. So, I want to know what's going on. And yeah, I will be able to help her, but not in the way, probably not in the superhero way that this guy is intending it to be. Like, oh, I'll just fix it. No, but I can help you get through it. I can stand next to you, by your side, to help you get through it if necessary. Because that's what I want to do. You know, you're not making me do it. That's what I want to do. And it's also not because I'm pitying you or anything. It's nothing like that. It's not because I don't think you can handle it by yourself. Nothing like that. It's just because I want to do that because because I love you, you know? I want to help you get through it because I don't want to see you being hurt. So I want to help you to get through the painful, nasty stuff as fast and as well as possible. And even though I know for certain that you can do it all by yourself if you want to, I want to just help you because that's just what I want to do. Like, maybe that's not the right thing to say, but that's just how I feel, alright, Yuri? Like, yeah. Like, yeah, just, yeah, you know, like, yeah, you know, it's not like, it's not a superhero thing. Like, I can't, like, lift the problem and throw it in the outer space or whatever. It's not, I can't do that, you know? But, like, I can help you as much as I possibly can. Because that's what I want to do as well. Because I don't like seeing you in pain, you know? But it could be in those messages that would make Yuri want to drop out. Do you regret falling in love with me, Mark? No, of course not. Why triple dots? You don't even have to think about that. The question comes out of nowhere, but I still form an answer. No. Oh, what the fuck? I regret believing that you had fallen for me. Yuri's taken aback from my statement, yeah, because that was unnecessary. Your eyes begin to feel like waterfalls, but tears don't fall. They crash. Go. Yeah, why the fuck did you say that? You fucking asshole. What the fuck was that for? This is not the time to fucking call that shit. Like, apparently something very big and something very personal, like something very important is going on, and I didn't know about it. Well, partly because Yuri didn't tell me, but also because apparently it was all over school and I never noticed, so either Natsuki didn't notice either, or Natsuki didn't tell me, or... Well, actually, I know, no way. I don't believe that Natsuki wouldn't tell me if something was going on. Natsuki definitely would tell me. So it's somehow magic... Well, that has to be Yuri, of course. It has to be Monica, of course, that has done that. Somehow it has magically evaded Natsuki, Yuri, and me. But it has hit everybody else, you know? But, you know, just not us, like, very mysteriously or whatever, you know? So, you know, this has to be Monica. But, like, you know, like, it's very, very big. It's very... It hurts Yuri very much. So it's like, it's very, like, yeah, no, it's very big. It seems to be very important. So what the fuck? Like, I should be, the character, should be way too shocked about that to even think about being angry or saying bullshit like that. That is shit. It's a good line. Like, do you regret falling off? No, I regret believing you had fallen. It's a good line for like a fucking rom-com movie or whatever, where the love interest has done something terrible or has betrayed the trust of the other guy or whatever, and he does that little or the girl, or, you know, depending on which is the guy or the girl or whatever, and then the protagonist comes back with that jab like, oh no, I thought you loved me, you know, and then he walks away, and then he wants the love interest to, and that changes something in the mind of the love interest, and then the love interest comes running after the protagonist, and then like, oh, I love you, and oh my god, I love you too, oh, kiss, movie ends. That's something you see there. That's not the time to say that at all. Yeah, that was completely unnecessary to say that. Yeah, go away. Your voice is still barely audible, but there's a force behind the statement. So this is how you want it to be. Yeah, well, that's like, I wanted to say partly, but it's pretty much 100% your fault, because you could have been a bit more sympathetic. You could have listened a bit more, a bit less angry, and there was definitely zero need for that remark, but okay. So this is how you want it to be. Please just go. And don't say anything after that. There's nothing left to say. Yo, there's tons of things you have to say, but you didn't say them because you said that stupid line. I stared at her for a bit longer. I take in her... Why is her... I take in her long purple hair, her woman-like body, and her lavender eyes. This is another her there for some reason. The lavender eyes, that even red with tears, still pierce straight to my soul. I turn on my heel and leave her house. Yeah, well, it's completely unnecessary to say what you said, but I do also believe it was important that we had to press it on the matter, because we can't just ignore it. It's something very big. Like, apparently the whole school was like bullying Yuri or whatever, or sending messages around about Yuri that I didn't know about, because those messages mysteriously didn't make it to... well, they did make it to Yuri, apparently, because she knew about it. Or indirectly, maybe. But those messages mysteriously didn't make it to Natsuki and I. And of course, Sayori's been in the hospital this whole time. So, you know, like, mysteriously those messages didn't make it to Natsuki and I, but apparently the rest of the school knows about it. So it's something, it's very big, it's very serious. And we can't just ignore that. There's no way, like I can understand, like, Yuri that she doesn't want to say anything about it because she feels embarrassed about it or whatever, or she feels like if I read whatever is in those messages that I realize the truth and I will leave her, you know, like I can understand that she would be scared about that, And that's why she didn't want to tell me. Even though she does trust me, or because, yeah, you know, she said she didn't really trust me or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that she does trust me, but she was just too scared to say that. Yeah, you know, here's what I think. I think she, like, does trust me because, of course, we've done a lot of things together. And I've shown, at least, time and time, at least me personally, maybe not the guy in the game, but me personally have shown it time and time again that, like, I won't judge her for various things, anything, really. But because this is so, whatever those messages are, they really hit her where it hurts. So, you know, Monica has done her research because, once again, I'm pretty sure that Monica is the one behind it, but those messages are not just messages. They really hit her at her weak spots, where she's most vulnerable, and they really did some serious damage there. It made her feel very insecure and whatever. And obviously, she doesn't want me to read those messages because they have done so much damage to her, so she's very scared. And maybe she starts to believe them at this point, and then, you know, she's afraid that if I read those messages, I will realize, like, the truth, and I will, like, oh yeah, Yuri, you're a bad person, I'm gonna leave you, bye. That's what she's, like, her nightmare of what is gonna happen when I read those messages. I think, you know, this is just my train of thought. So that's why she didn't want to tell me, even though she does know that she can't trust me, you know? This is just way too personal because those messages have done so much damage. That's just my theory. So therefore, I do understand why Yuri didn't say anything. And that's also, so, you know, but we can't just ignore that because it is such an important, huge part. It's so huge. It can't be, you can't just ignore it. We can't just change the topic and pretend like everything is fine because it isn't. That won't be healthy either. We had to confront that. And of course, the way the guy did that was fucking terrible, by the way. Because he's also done a bunch of other terrible things about, of course, like, trusting Yuri and then telling to Yuri not to judge her and then immediately judging her. And telling Yuri, like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want. And then forcing Yuri to do something. With the therapy, you know, like, Yuri's like, oh, I'm scared or whatever. And like, yeah, you're going to therapy. Or, like, yeah, I won't judge you for anything. Like, I have a knife collection. You have to get rid of that knife collection. Like, that was, like, those were other things, but then also that was not the time to get angry at her because you should have been way too shocked about the fact that those messages were apparently something so big that have completely gone under the radar for me and Natsuki too, because I'm pretty sure if Natsuki had known about it, she would have told me. So, you know, you should have been more shocked about that and less angry, and then I would still press the matter because, again, you can't just ignore that. We have to talk about it. But don't become angry at her and say bullshit like, oh, I thought you loved me. Like, fucking hell. Like I said, it should be for, like, some sort of cheesy rom-com or whatever. Like, where the love, like I said, where the love interest has done something and hurt the protagonist. And the protagonist is like, oh, I thought you loved me. And then the protagonist leaves and then the love interest realizes they were actually in love with the protagonist all along. And then, you know, the protagonist goes on a plane or whatever. And then the love interest rushes to the airport. And then just before he boards the plane, she just arrives and, oh, I love you. Oh, yeah, I love you too. Oh, hugs, kisses. And then the movie ends. That's where you see lines like that, not in a situation like this. This is a fucking terrible place to use that line. Like, it's a sort of like, in a way, it's a beautiful poetic line, but it like, ugh. It was this disgusting line here in this context because you just don't say that, especially after you realize something very terrible is going on with the person that you love and care about, and you want to do everything in your life to help her. And then you do that. Like, what the fuck? I mean, I've had those moments in Blue Skies, and it's been a while since I have played Blue Skies, but this is the first time again, I think, that I wanted to fucking jump through the screen and just hug Yuri for that, and like be the boyfriend that she just kind of needed right there, to just, and not be angry at her and just try to comfort her but do press the matter. Like, I don't know whether that's the correct answer, but, you know, I feel like it is, because we can't just ignore something that's so big that's going on, apparently. But this is like the first time in a while that I felt like I really desperately wanted to fucking jump through the screen and change the story. Because that is, I believe, the strongest feeling a movie or video game maker or whatever can give the audience. Because, of course, breaking the fourth wall is, of course, a very powerful tool to use in various situations for horror, especially in Doki Doki Literature Club's example, of course. But, of course, there's like a certain, this is my philosophy on it, like there's a certain various levels of breaking the fourth wall, of how well it is done. Like breaking the fourth wall just for laughs, and then above that is breaking the fourth wall and making sure, just breaking the fourth wall. And then another layer above that is breaking the fourth wall in such a way that you make the audience uncomfortable. And then like another layer above that, like the top layer of fourth wall breaking is evoking emotions so that the audience themselves wants to break the fourth wall. I feel like that is the most powerful emotion you can give the audience. That's my philosophy anyway. That you like awaken or evoke emotions within the audience, that the audience wants to break the fourth wall themselves to change the story in a certain way, because they want to make it better or make it worse or whatever, you know, like something like make it worse, like a terrible villain that gets off really easily in a very disgusting way, and then makes you want to break the fourth wall to give that guy what he deserves or whatever. Or in this case, I wanted to just fucking go through the screen and talk to Yuri in the way that I wanted to talk to her, not in the way that this guy's talking to her. Like, I don't know whether that would have resulted in a better ending or like in a better sequence, but I didn't want to sit by. I wanted to fucking punch through the fourth wall myself and get in there and help. And I feel like that is the most powerful emotion that you can evoke in the audience, because like in games it's a bit different, because in games you are playing, so the fourth wall is very flimsy. In Doki Doki not so much, because you're just sitting there reading text, but in like Doom, if playing in Doom, like Doom is a bad example because Doom is not really about story, but like a first-person shooter like Doom, you can do whatever you want. Like if a demon is pissing you off, you can deliberately go out of your way to make sure that demon dies a very slow, painful death. You know, because you're controlling the character, you're playing the game, so you can, you know, play it how you want to. If you're playing a first-person shooter, you can decide how you do it. If you're playing a real-time strategy, you can decide how you want to do things. You know, if you play Rome to the War, you can decide to declare war on a faction, or if a faction declares war on you, you can decide to deliberately go after that faction to make them suffer or whatever. You know, or if, you know, even your allies being attacked, you can jump in and help them out. And, you know, like, because you're playing the game yourself, so you can do it the way you want to. But it's a bit different in Doki Doki because, of course, you can make a few choices here and there, but for the most part, you're just along for the ride and you're just watching a story. Kind of like in those PlayStation games like The Last of Us or Beyond Two Souls or what's that other one called? Until Dawn, I believe it's called, with the Wendigos and stuff. I believe that's what it's called, don't remember for sure, but don't know for sure. But even though you are sort of playing those games, you are mostly along for the ride, and there are just a few choices here and there. But for the most part, it's just you're just watching cutscenes. You're actually watching a movie that you can sort of interact with a few times. But, you know, like, and Doki Doki is one of them because, you know, you can make a few choices, but for the most part, you're just sitting here while reading text. And you just have to make do with what the character says, and there's nothing you can change about it. So, you know, in that regard, this is a bit more like Doki Doki is a bit more like those games, and a bit less like other like actual video games, because there's not that much that you can do. You know, you can't type in the literal sentence that the guy is gonna say, and the girls will respond in real time. First of all, because that would be ridiculously difficult to code, and second of all, because, you know, like, that's just how the game is. Because you don't have the same amount of influence on it as if you were playing a first-person shooter or a real-time strategy or an RPG or whatever. So in a sense, it is a bit more like those PlayStation games like The Last of Us and Beyond Two Souls or whatever, where you're just sort of like watching a movie. You know, it's a bit more like watching a movie, an actual movie. And watching a movie is an experience, a different experience, because it is already set in stone. It's already, you know, the movie maker is already, they're already finished. They're showing you a finished product, and you're just along for the ride. Yeah, behind the fourth wall, you're just allowed to watch and experience things through the eyes of the protagonist and whatever. And of course, the point of a movie or a book, but this applies to books as well, obviously, and other stories in general. The point is to take the reader or the audience for a ride and show, like, evoke certain emotions and feelings in the audience in the way that is in line with what the creator of the story has in mind. And, you know, Doki Doki is a bit more like an actual movie. Watching an actual movie with a certain message that the movie makers put into it, and they try to evoke those emotions or make you think about those things, whatever it is that they wanted you to think about. And you know, they use various tricks in movies to make you like a character or hate a character, and then subvert your expectations, for example, to make you think differently. And a recent example that I've watched is maybe Schindler's List, which of course is about, well, I'm not going to explain the movie, but of course in the beginning, Oskar Schindler is, he doesn't care about saving the Jews, he just cares about money. He does care about not losing his workforce, and he's just annoyed when the SS comes around and shoots his workforce up. And he's just like, yeah, that's just costing me time and money, and he just wants to make money all the time, and he doesn't really... Like, he wants to keep them alive just because them being killed all the time is effort, and effort is money. So he doesn't really save them because he morally wants to save them, you know? But as the movie goes on, he like slowly starts to change his demeanor and his morals and his code and his beliefs on humans and Jews in general, or Jews and humans in general, but, you know, like, and he starts to question the morals of Nazi Germany and of the Waffen-SS and all that others, and, you know, and then he really and then eventually, of course, when he sees that the girl in red has been killed, and they're just carrying those corpses away like they're nothing, burning it and shooting the corpses because they're happy that they're dead, and he sees the girl in the red coat there, and he's shocked because he saw that little girl walking around when they rounded everybody up in Krakow. Like, something snaps with him, or not snaps, that sounds like he's gonna go in a rage or whatever, but like something clicks in his mind, like what the fuck, this is horrible, like it's like it clicks in his mind and whatever, and then you experience that journey with him through the eyes of him, sort of. Well, not really, because you get to see other parts as well, but, you know, you get to experience his story, and you see how he changes, and how he realizes how he's in a system that is horrible, and he realizes that it's horrible, and he then makes the decision to try to save as many lives as possible from the horrors that they're captured in. And that's because, you know, and then, you know, of course, the story is that's the story, and of course the film it's made by Steven Spielberg, but no, the story is about, of course, like how the filmmaker wants to show you that emotion, like how Oskar Schindler developed through that, and of course he wants to evoke those emotions with you as well. Of course, you know, he shows in very brutal detail how the Holocaust went, and how how little the SS cared about anyone that was captured there, about Jewish life, that they genuinely thought that they were worth less than them, and he didn't really beat around the bush at showing you any of that, and how Goeth or whatever that SS officer is that was Oscar's friend, and in the beginning, and eventually starts to try and change him. How he genuinely is just like an evil human being, how he just like has like a superiority complex, is that what it's called? How he like feels he is so much more important than anyone else, and especially like the people he's commanding or in the camp, and when he's standing in that villa shooting them down from his balcony with a sniper just because. That's just how he starts his morning. He just wakes up and he shoots 2 random Jews in a camp, and then he just takes a cigarette and he takes a shower, and then he starts with his day. Like, that's just how he thought that, and that's just how he started his fucking day. And that, and he evokes the emotion with the audience, how you're like that's how this went, and you experience the journey with Oskar Schindler, and you realize how he changes, and you maybe in the beginning you hate him probably because he is a bit of an asshole, but eventually you start to like him because he changes along while the story goes along. And like eventually when he starts crying about how he could have saved one more person, and he says he saved like over 1,000 people, and he starts to cry because he could have saved one more person, but he didn't, even though he's already done so much and he's changed so much, and he realizes, and then you start to feel for him, because like even in the beginning you hated him, in the beginning you hated him, but now you love him, and now you don't want him to beat himself up about this because he's already done so much, and that whole journey, it evokes so many emotions and stuff, and it takes you along for a ride with what the filmmakers have in mind of what their vision is. And the most powerful, but you're just along. But that's the thing, you're just along for the ride. You can't do anything while you're watching it. And the best thing that they can do is evoke emotions. But by far the best thing that they can do is want you to participate in the story. That's at least my philosophy. By far the best emotion you can evoke in somebody is wanting them to break the fourth wall themselves, so that they have a direct influence on the story. In Schindler's List, for example, wanting them so badly to just shoot Amon Goth in the face because of how much of an asshole he is to all the Jews in the camp, and how much of a piece of shit human being he is in general, like wanting the whole entire audience to just fucking grab a pistol, like even people that have never killed before, wanting them, like evoking emotion in them that they just want to punch through the screen, get in the movie and shoot that guy in the face, and then they don't, that is by far the most, in my opinion, the most powerful emotion or feeling that you can create in a person in the audience while they watch a movie. And in this case, like physically wanting them to change the story. I think that is the most powerful emotion or feeling that you can evoke in the audience. And like I said, Doki Doki is a bit more like a movie because you're a bit more of a passenger and just watching it. And, you can make a few choices, but not that much. Like, you don't have as much control as if you were playing a first-person shooter or whatever. Or any other video game for that matter. Video games where you are actually playing something and doing something. Because like I said, if you're playing Doom and a certain demon is pissing you off, it's not like, it's a movie where Doom Guy is forced to fight some other demons and let them escape or whatever. No, you're playing the game yourself. If a demon is pissing you off, you can deliberately ignore everything else, go for that guy, and just make him die a very slow and agonizing, painful death just because he's been annoying you. Because you're playing the game, you're controlling everything. You can just do whatever the hell you want. In Minecraft, it's the best example. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You have infinite possibilities. You can do whatever the hell you want. Like play creative, survival, build a giant castle, blow everything up. Doesn't matter what you want to do. You can do anything you want. You have full control over everything. You're only limited by your own imagination, essentially. And you know, like other games as well, like Rome Total War, like, you know, your allies being attacked, you, like, it's not like you are bound by law to ignore it and be forced to watch from the sidelines how they are being massacred and you can't do anything, and the stories about how the king is very upset that he couldn't do anything. No, you're not watching a movie, you're playing the game. You can help your ally and kill that other faction that is attacking it. Or when your armies are being harassed and ambushed by an enemy, you can deliberately focus on destroying that other faction as fast and as viciously as possible because you're feeling hatred against it, like kind of like you try to reenact like Augustus, like give me back my legions, you know, like it's your story, you can make it yourself because you're playing it, but you can't do that in Doki Doki. You're forced to watch. You're forced to watch what the mod maker has made. And by far, the most powerful emotion you can then evoke from the audience that is forced to watch from the sidelines is to make them not want to stay by the sidelines anymore. I feel like that is the the strongest emotion you can evoke from the audience. Wanting the audience themselves to break the fourth wall, to break the safety of the fourth wall themselves, because it can be very scary if the fourth wall is broken for you without your will or without your influence or whatever, which is what Monica does, of course. And this is one of the first times in a while that I have felt that, where I wanted to I wanted to crash through the screen and give Yuri a hug and speak to Yuri in the way that I wanted to speak to her, and not how this asshole was speaking to her and getting angry at her. I wanted to speak to Yuri how I wanted to speak to Yuri. I wanted to hug her. I wanted to just tell her that it'll be okay. Like, you know, I just wanted to, like, you know, I don't know if that would be the correct term. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And like I said, I think that is the most powerful thing that you can do, making the audience feel that. And I've experienced that for the first time in a while.